Hey guys, what is going on? We're back. Eric Lowry, Fred Weaver, and myself, Kevin Kauffman. And Eric, I'm excited to chat with you again today. You and I, or I guess the three of us, had a conversation just over 100 days ago, right? When you decided to pick up your business, the Lowry team at Keller Williams Realty, and move over to eXp Realty. And you've learned a few things since then about the company that you didn't know. In fact, you said, there's some things I wish I would have known before I moved. And so that's why we're here to have that conversation.
Exactly. Thanks for hooking up and taking a few minutes today, guys. I've been thinking about this a lot lately, our current state of world affairs and, trying to operate a real estate business and through these times and everything has caused, I've spent a lot of time thinking about our business, where we're going in the future and all that kind of stuff. But it really caused me to think back about the decision we made. And in particular, I jotted down in my notes, this was, a few days ago, early in the morning, I jotted down 5 things that I literally thought, I wish I'd have known this. It would have helped me understand better. There were just some things there. They're neither, they're not complaints. I'm not going, dang, dude, why didn't you tell me? Well, maybe we'll get to one of them. It might be that way, but it was just really, it was just me thinking out loud and making some notes that started this conversation. And so I messaged you guys and just said, let's talk about this because I feel like it's important.
For sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys had anything to add first. Otherwise, I'm gonna jump in and rail through these.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, let's hop in. Go for it, Fred.
I can't believe it's been 100 days. That's all I got. Seriously, man. I feels like it was like a month ago. Now, March felt like it was a year, but somehow it doesn't feel like you've been here for 100 days. So that's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is hard. I got a message from eXp Corporate or whoever sends it, the concierge team or whatever, on day 90. They're going, hey, congrats on 90 days. And I'm like, it couldn't have been. It just has gone that fast. I think it was hard for me to imagine. So anyways, I remember we did the Facebook Live when I announced our move 100 days ago, give or take a day, I don't know. And I said to you, the number one reason was people, right? That was my thing back then, it was about our people and building opportunity and the people we're in business with. That's become super important to me over the last couple of years, and it's certainly not less important. It's certainly more important today than it ever was, let's say. And so that was my first one I wrote down, actually, though, was I didn't understand at least the level I wish I had, the power of our network and the people that we're really in business with. And I won't say I didn't know it, because I did. And I won't say you guys didn't explain it, because you did. And maybe it's just one of those things you can't understand from the outside. It could be that. But the power, just as I think about, I'm going to rip off a couple of things right now that are some of the things that are working in the background that we haven't even pushed into our business yet. But there's a lot. We've got a guy working on LinkedIn strategy with us, right? So, and then we've got Andrew Franklin, who's our friend that, can you imagine? It was just, was it 2 months ago now? We went to Houston to see him, right? To be around, and I just was in awe of Jimmy and Andrew and their operation, selling, 1,000 homes a year, something close to that. I'm not sure exactly, but it's a ton. And, Facebook group, Michael Reese posted about a week ago, hey, who wants to jump in and do this beta test with this new marketing strategy we're using? And so we're working on that. It's something that you can't see if you look at our business today, but it's going to have an impact on our business pretty shortly. And so I just think you can't understand that network maybe from the outside and the power of it. But once I got in it, I was blown away by it.
Yeah, I think it's one of the more powerful things about this company with that people don't realize, and it's maybe like you said, it's not that we didn't tell you about it, but you don't know it until you feel it, until you experience it. But yeah, the power of having people with who are effectively your business partners, right? They have a vested interest in you doing better. And I think that it's easy to misunderstand or not realize how valuable that can be in your business.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, just like I've learned so much from you guys over the years, and just, now that we are, we communicate more, we talk more, we're the strategies that all of us are talking about, helping each other build bigger businesses that have bigger impact on more people, is, like I said, I'm not sure you can fully understand it from the outside, but it was the number one thing I wrote down was, what's of the 5 things was the power of our network. Because I didn't mention Curtis, right? Curtis running a big business, and we're trying to model some of the things that he does with listing presentation, is some of the things we're trying to build into our business now. So there's so much, it's unbelievable. And when you come down to it, when you're building a business, you're going to bump up against ceilings. We've all done it as we've grown and gotten bigger and bigger. And the way to break through those ceilings is to be around people who've already busted through them, that can just pull you up through them to the next level. And then, it's also our responsibility as we break through them to pull people up with us. And so that whole power of the whole network, that was the biggest one, and it was my number one. So I'm not sure if you would add anything to that, but
I'll add that I think one of the things that's overlooked, Eric, is many people know that you name a sponsor at eXp, the person that most influenced you to join. And you describe that as basically picking your business partner when you first joined. Right. And that is true. That remains true. But I think what's not seen, maybe what has to be felt, is what you're describing. It's not just that you linked up with Kevin and I. Sure, we can share some stuff. We've always done that. But it's the connections that go beyond that, right? Kevin and my connection to Curtis. It's Curtis's connection to Michael Reese, as you mentioned earlier, right? It's Kevin and my connection to Andrew Franklin and the Franklin team in Houston. And so all these connections. And I mean, I connected you a week or so ago with somebody that I thought you could help, right? So it goes up and it goes down, right? It's not just like a one-sided thing where it's like, you're just taking this information from these people, but it's like you're giving it as well, because it's in the spirit of collaboration where when we all share, we all grow stronger, and we're in a company that rewards each other for this sharing and this growth.
Yep. So we did connect. It was a really good call. He actually, it was funny. He described it. He said, "I think we're cousins," right? In the whole network group, right? Like, because you're like, I think we're cousins. And I mean, it's kind of how it is. It's like family, man. We help each other, right? So that was a good call, by the way. So yeah, so that was number one for me. And by the way, like, there's a call tomorrow night with some of our guys, like Jay Kinder and Brent Gove are doing. I don't even like. They're just posted out there. Get on this call. I'm not even sure the whole subject matter, but it's like Brent said apparently this is going to be the most important or best call we've ever been on, or something. I'm like, it's on my calendar, right? That kind of stuff matters. It's awesome. So that was number one. Number two was the value of eXp World and Workplace. That was my number two. And by the way, so again, you go, well, it's not that you didn't tell me about eXp World. In fact, Fred said to me way back in the day, this thing's kind of weird, right? It's different. And Kevin sent me an invite back early December, and I got in there and I walked around a little bit. I thought, yeah, okay. Like, it's it's whatever. It's like, I get it. You can walk into an auditorium, see some training. In part of this understanding might have come from how important it's become the last 6 or 7 weeks as we've worked to this. Like, we've always been pretty virtual, and then we came to this brokerage. It's all cloud-based virtual, and so that was part of my plan. I wanted to keep up in our game that way. I didn't know outside events were going to force us to go even faster into that. But every Monday, I'm meeting with my team in eXp World in one of the conference rooms to do our one-on-one coaching. We haven't skipped a beat. Like, we never, we closed our team office, not permanently, but we closed it to work remotely 6-7 weeks ago. And the next Monday, we're in eXp World doing our thing, doing our coaching. It's been every bit as effective. It might even be more. I'm not sure. I've learned how to use the display boards to put up things it's kind of cool. It's the screen sharing and stuff that we can do in there. And the other part of that is workplace. I didn't understand that for sure. But there is a Facebook Workplace where we all communicate, where literally our company communicates inside of there. There's all those groups where, depending on the subject matter you need to reach someone about, like, you just go in there and type in your question or your thing, and bam, somebody's responding like that, including your broker or whoever it might be in the company that you need help with. Those two things I certainly didn't understand are way, way, way underappreciated.
Yeah, it's they sound weird. Sorry about that. I had something stuck in my throat. They sound weird, like you mentioned. Fred told you they're weird, and they kind of are until you realize, in your case, like you were forced to adopt it because the whole world was, and you luckily for us, this company was built on that. This company was built on being able to work in this time, right? So we haven't skipped a beat, and so it just forced you to adopt that quicker, and you realized in a pretty short amount of time, like how valuable those resources are for you to be able to run your business.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
If I could just add something on workplace, it's one of these things we don't talk about very often, Eric, but at a lot of real estate companies and just companies in general, you feel like there's a big, great divide between the people at the top and the people that, let's call them the agents at the bottom, so to speak, right? And at eXp, workplace really eliminates that distance, because if you want to send a message to the president of eXp or the CFO of eXp or the senior vice president of brokerage ops or whatever it may be, you can do it. And you can get a response back from them, right? They don't ignore the messages. So it really breaks down the walls and the separation, if you will, from the people in the corporate roles, from the agents, on the ground floor doing business. And it brings us all together.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the level of transparency with which this company operates, it was like, that's definitely, it wasn't on my list, that specific thing about the transparency, but you make me think of that is like, I certainly didn't get that part. Like I've never been in a company that had that kind of level of transparency before, communication wise, where you can literally just reach out to whoever and get an answer. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
So that was number 2, was the value of the eXp world and workplace. The third one was, and I think I knew this, I believe this at some level, but it was the ease of the move. I've only moved a couple of times in my 22-year career, right? I've not done it a lot. And I've never thought it was going to be a thing that was so difficult to overcome. Like I've never believed the broker speak of, if you make a move, it'll crush your career, it'll hurt your business, like all that. I never believed that. I think, in fact, if you do it right, you can put growth into your business very quickly if you have a method and a system to why you're doing it and how you're doing it. But like this move was, it's almost like you didn't even know we did it. It was so easy. Like it literally it was just boom, 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 next day. Part of that, I would say, so I didn't understand how easy it would be. In my mind, even though I didn't think it was a thing, I still had made it bigger than it really was. Part of that, Lil, is I'll give you guys credit on this. You provided us as we moved that, I believe it was a Google Drive document, Lisa has it, that was just kind of a step-by-step, here's what you need to do to make the move. And so we just did. Like we've had we are on track right now, and I say this with like humility that I haven't done most of it, our people have, but we're on track right now to have right at this moment, the biggest year we've ever had in real estate. We moved to eXp in January. March was the biggest sales month we've ever had. April, we just missed beating March. And in May, we've already had an enormous blessing of sales that I think if we just keep going, this will end up being the biggest month we've ever had. I think a lot of virtual powered it, but honestly, our people did it. Like I don't even take credit for that, but the fact that we can move and so seamlessly make it happen where it never interrupted our pipeline. We're in a sales business. It's a pipeline business, and we never skipped a beat with that. Like that was, I didn't know it would be that easy, to be blunt. And part of that I give you guys credit for, because you kind of had us prepared.
You're ruining the misperception out there that production goes down when you move to eXp Realty, and the reality is you can be very productive. It's completely up to you as the agent, and in a lot of cases, people's production go up. You mentioned the Franklins. Their production has done nothing but go up in the year and a half that they've been in eXp, right? And that happens a lot with a lot of teams, but so that's no surprise, man, because the reality is, listen, Eric, the Lowry team was on a trajectory. You guys were going to win no matter what. It's like Curtis, who you mentioned earlier too. Curtis always says winners are always going to win, right? Winners just find a win. You're always going to be able to sell real estate. Yeah, there's going to be some tools here that support you a little bit better, and maybe there's a tool over there that might support you in this other thing that probably balance out. At the end of the day, it's about what you focus on and what is the environment that helps you get your goals. And you've clearly found that within eXp, which is pretty awesome.
Yep. No, I agree. But it's about having a system, right? You can make a move. That old broker speak can be true. You can move from broker A to broker B and have your sales go down 100%. You can, if you just make the move. That's not the point. You should be making a move because you're putting yourself in a place where you're going to experience growth, and assuming you want it, very rapid growth. It all goes to who you're in business with, right? Yeah, there's tools, and yeah, we have some cool stuff at eXp for sure, right? Like I'm more enamored by that stuff now than I was 100 days ago. And what I really know is the deal breakers, the thing we talked about first, which is the people, right? Yeah. And that's when you make a move and if you want to grow and you think you need to make a move, assuming you align yourself with the right people, it should come fast. Like there's no reason it shouldn't. If you have a system, if you just change your business card, it's not going to change your business.
So true.
Yeah. All right. So how easy to move? For sure. So here's perhaps the one that surprised me the most, maybe, and that was I wrote it down originally. I remember I wrote down doing the math, and I think that matters. I'm a math guy. I've got spreadsheets for my spreadsheets, right? Like it's and we did. I remember talking to both you guys about well, what's the split and all the things that real estate agents always want to talk about, and I underestimated when we did the math, right? Didn't take this into account till later. It was just smacked me in the head. But the stock part of it, literally, I wrote this down. I wrote, in a few weeks, I'm going to get back every dollar I paid into eXp for my cap in stock. It's good. I don't know if it's June 12th or if it's June 17th. It's somewhere in there. Like it's before July 4th. I'm going to have been awarded back in stock all of the money I paid into eXp, which in a way, just when I went, damn, basically means I get to do business here for like what feels like free. It's not completely free. I mean, yeah, I paid money into the company, and yeah, it's in stock, and somebody out there in Facebook land right now is watching it and this and going, yeah, but I read about that stock, and you can't. It's vested over time, and you can't sell it. Let me be clear. That's true. And I don't give a shit. I'm not getting the stock because I want to sell it tomorrow anyway. Like I'm not, it's just an investment. It's money. It just keeps getting stockpiled away, and it's just going to stay there. And so when I get I think Brent Gove said this, that where I got it, maybe you guys did. I don't know. But I think he said it. He said, I got my cap back in stock. And a year from now, that theoretically, that stock's going to be worth more. I'm not a stock dude, so for those of you that are going, he's giving stock advice. No, I'm not. I ain't smart enough. But it's going to be worth more next year. And so I'll have effectively gotten more than my cap back. And next year, I'm going to get it back again and again. It's not a one-time thing. And so I didn't get that. And I will tell you, I'm not sure you guys forced that on me enough, right? Like, I'm not sure you didn't you should have maybe grabbed me and said, I don't think you understand. Like,
it's a pleasant surprise. It really is. You talk about spreadsheets. We put together the pro forma for you so you could actually see black and white in the numbers, right? Hey, here's what it's going to and we just looked at a cost basis, right? We just said, what is the cost of operating your business? We didn't even really go into the upside of the fact that you're going to earn stock and that you could buy stock. Like, think about, hopefully I'm not stealing your number 5 because you didn't tell us what your 5 things were beforehand. But think about the fact that we all bought stock last month for a couple bucks and less than what it's trading at today. By the way, we can go sell that right now. Like I could sell that today. So it's, even though it's real, it's hard for us to, I know my mindset and Fred's mindset is when we're putting together those pro formas for really smart business people like yourself, it's still hard to put that in there because, if anything we've experienced in the last 60 days, the stock market is volatile at times, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the value of real estate is volatile at times. But in the long run, what do we know? We know that we're in a pretty good shape, right? And so even though we know that, it's hard to put that in there. And you're right. Maybe we should, Fred, maybe that's just a feedback for us. Maybe we should make that more of an emphasis as we're talking to some of the other folks where the three of us are talking to, of like, hey, this really is a big deal. This is a big upside for you.
Yeah.
Start shaking people. I'm just going to shake them. It's true, Eric. Comments I've said recently to Kevin, maybe I've said it to you, is like, I don't understand why agents who sell, let's call it 3 houses a month, are at any company other than eXp. Because if you sell 3 houses a month, 36 transactions a year, that puts you in the upper echelon. But that's not impossible. Those of us that have been doing this a while, we know 2 to 3 sales a month is very achievable. And people that are doing that type of production, they're silly not to be at eXp. There, I'll say it. I'll be really direct. Like, you're dumb not to look at it. You're
right.
Crazy, not because of what it's going to do for me or Kevin or Eric, but because of what it could do for you and your family over 3, 5, and 10 years. Because if you sell 2 to 3 houses a year, you're probably not walking away from the real estate business anytime soon. It's going to start looking 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, and 10 years down the road. And it's clear as day which brokerage is going to put you in a better position, you and your family, wealth-wise, over the long run, eXp. And if you don't believe us, challenge us, let us run some numbers and talk to you further.
Yeah, for sure. That wasn't my number 5, Kevin. I will add, though, that the other part of the stock piece that I will say surprised me or I didn't realize was that, when you have your first closing at eXp, the company awards you stock, right? And so it meant every agent on my team, when they had their first closing at eXp, they got some eXp stock. Now, it's not life-changing amount of stock. Like, none of them got that stock and then decided to retire. And I was surprised at how big a deal that felt to them, that they were now part owners of this company as well as I was, as well as Lisa was. Like that matters, right? And they're all opted in, by the way, to the stock purchase plan. So when they have a closing, a small part of their commissions go directly to buying eXp stock at that discount. And it's just a nice extra little way for them to save money. And you have to think, for a brokerage growing at the rate we are, the future's pretty bright. In fact, I heard this yesterday. Spencer Rascroft, is that how you say his name? The Zillow guy. He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
He said on a national interview that he was asked what brokerage was best positioned for the market moving forward for the future, and he said eXp. He said that is the brokerage that he believes is best positioned because of our cost structure, our virtual, the way we're built, that is the company built to thrive. So that was pretty cool. I just heard that yesterday morning. So anyways, number 5 was, this is a pretty basic one. It was 5, but it was just something when you talk about a virtual brokerage and you're on the outside, you assume, how does that all work? And how do systems and how do we get paid? And those are natural questions people would ask. Number 5 for me was the ease of our agents getting paid. It's not the biggest thing, maybe when you go, wow, you build a list, you might be surprised that's on there. But it is so easy for our agents to get paid that, like, I was shocked by it, honestly. Like, they're getting paid within hours of closings. At our previous company, no shots or anything, but sometimes there's 3 or 4 days till commission checks got dispersed. Like, we're talking about hours now. That's different. And most people might assume, oh, it's virtual and how does that all work? That it might take longer somehow. It's super fast. And it never stopped. There was never a day when our offices were ever closed. So no matter whether it was March 31 or April 4 or whenever our closings were happening, the disbursements were going right out because it's all done in the cloud. It's all virtual. Our people all showed up to work. So that was 5.
Yeah, Fred and I can relate to that. Especially in our case, where we had expansion locations and agents across different cities, and therefore actually in different brokerages, right? We would that was cool. That was nice of Freddie Penn to join the broadcast there. So we would sometimes, Eric, we'd be waiting weeks, literally weeks. And I still have some friends that are agents at other companies in a franchise system who do still wait weeks and sometimes a month plus for one brokerage to pay the other brokerage to then finally pay them. And it's silly. And even Freddie Penn, who is 3 years old, understands the value of being able to work virtually and get paid the same day.
Right? He probably likes it better.
Yeah.
Hey man, he needs Chick-fil-A. So the more check count, the sooner load that right onto our Chick-fil-A app and buy you some Chick-fil-A.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yes. Heck yes. So those are my 5. And so when I looked at it all together, and I jotted this note down this morning as I was thinking about these, is here's what I would say in recapping and bring it all together, if you will. And I say this, I'll just say it. You and I first talked about eXp in June of 2018, right? It was the week before, I think, the week before you left, Kevin, put me on the call, right? Hey, we're moving. And I was surprised because we've been talking about our businesses and companies, and we're pretty, we have a good relationship when we talk about things. But then you started trying to talk to me about eXp, and I stopped. I didn't listen very well. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say it was clear that you did not see at all any of what I saw.
Yeah. And then you got me on a call with Fred. Fred took me through this whole thing, and I didn't listen very well. I said no. In fact, I can remember one point, Kevin, where you messaged me and said, inside a Facebook Messenger one day, you said, "Hey, dude, if you don't want me to talk to you about eXp anymore, just say so. I 100% won't." You remember that?
Yep.
And I said, no, it's cool, man. Like, I'm a big guy. I can say no if I need to. And I said, it's just not the time. I'm too busy working on my business. But we've always been, in contact and stuff. And so what I would say and recapping it was, I wish you'd have pushed me harder.
I appreciate
because you guys aren't pushers, right? You're just, you share that by your nature. That's who you are. I wish you'd have pushed me harder, to be honest. I wish you'd have been a little more aggressive, because I probably would have. I would have responded to that well. I think. I know I wouldn't have shut you off. I wouldn't have deleted you from Facebook or whatever. But I wish you had. And so that's really why I felt so strongly about wanting to do this, because there's people out there right now. I talked to some this past week who said, "Oh, I've been researching it. I've been reading about it." And at first, my reaction is like, "Well, it's cool if you ever that's how it starts to go." Like my brain's going, well, it's cool if you ever want to talk about it more, let me know. Or just being passive about it almost. And I think it's a huge mistake that I feel so strongly 100 days in about this company. And it is the company. It's the brokerage I always wished I was at. It is. A long time ago, I made a change for what I thought was the brokerage that I always wanted to be at. And it never quite delivered. And I don't mean that to be a shot, but it never quite delivered on the promises they made. And I've been here 100 days, and so far all I've seen is exceeding expectations in a way I've never seen in a brokerage before. And so I feel pretty damn strongly like we have to tell this story.
It's funny you say that, Eric, because I definitely I know that I'm not pushy. Fred's not pushy. Well, Fred is. But the reality, him and I were having a conversation a couple weeks ago, and we're talking about how much we love eXp and truthfully how much it's done for our business, kind of similar to the conversation that the three of us are having today. Fred and I were just having privately in our office one day, and we were talking about some of our friends, who, friends like people like you who we've known from our previous brokerage at KW, who we're close with, we shared stuff with. And, the reality is when you push, sometimes people aren't ready for that. And so they think of you as like, oh, he's just pushy salesman. All he cares about is recruiting. He just wants to recruit and build revenue share for me. But the reality is like, don't get me wrong. That's just some of the benefits of eXp Realty is, yes, if you come over and we align, I'm going to make more money. But the reality is I'm incentivized to help you make more money. And the real truth of it is the reason why we want to now share eXp with even more people than ever before is because of the things that you just listed. The fact that it's made such an impact in our business. I mean, it's completely changed our lives. It's completely changed our business. And this isn't about me wanting to push something on someone. It's about me wanting to share it with people I care about, because I want everyone to be able to experience the growth in their version of the 5 things you just talked about for themselves. Because again, you don't know it until you get here. And then when you realize, oh my goodness, yes, financially, it's a much better situation than pretty much any franchise system in the country. And yet there's even more benefits above that financially that you can't even begin to understand until you're here.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And so when I say it, maybe a better way of saying it, Kevin, you might have just said it better than I did. Like when I say you didn't push me hard enough, what I really mean, I guess, is like you certainly shared it with me. I understood it. Hell, you didn't know, but the whole time I was watching, like I'm reading, watching it. Like I was obsessed with watching it because it looked good and I didn't want to, I don't know. I was trying to figure it all out, I guess. But so when I say I wish you'd have pushed me harder, I think how I feel about it now is because I do feel like this, I mean that sincerely and wholeheartedly. I've never said this about a company before, but I literally feel like I've joined the company I always wanted to join in real estate. And I feel like it's our responsibility now to share it, maybe just share it more boldly, not push so hard, because pushing, you're right, that sounds too hardcore sales and people don't want to be pushed. But I think we have a responsibility to share the message of what it's really like inside of here, because from the outside it's hard to understand, but it's unbelievable. I just, that's how I feel about it. I know I have this saying on my wall in my office next door here, and it says, it's not original, it's not mine, but the only thing keeping us hitting from our goals is the bullshit stories we keep telling ourselves. And too many people are telling themselves those bullshit stories now about the brokerage, people say things. And if you're at your brokerage and you love it and it's just the perfect fit for you, that's awesome. But if you're not willing to explore at least what else is out there, you're keeping yourself in your own little world, I think. That's how I feel about it anyway. And that isn't some hard sell message. I feel so strongly about it that I feel like we've got to do a better job of just telling our story. Hope that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense, man. I love it. And on that note, I think like 15 minutes from now, we're actually going to tell our story in full. I know you wanted to share today your experience, but at the top of the hour, Kevin and I are joining and doing an introduction to eXp Realty and how we do work virtually, and kind of going into the details on that. So you can go to expclass.online, and register for that. I hope I have that URL correct. If not, Kevin will fix that for me and put it in the comments soon. But yeah, we'd love for people to join us. And Eric, I got to the point recently where I've just said to people, like, this isn't about you joining so I financially benefit. I'm already getting plenty of financial benefits. I don't need more. I'll take more. I want more. But me telling you about this and wanting you to look deeper and consider it more seriously is not just about me. It's about, I know how good it's treating me and my business and my family. And I just feel like I can't stay quiet anymore and not share it with you, right? And that's sort of been my message that I've been sharing with people. That's as pushy as I know how to get. It's like, look, it's not as much about me as it is about you. Now, will I benefit if you join? Yes, I get it. But you'll benefit too. And it's crazy that you haven't yet looked at this, right? Or you haven't yet considered it, or you're just taking the opinions of other people. And we need to tell you the real story, not maybe the story you've heard about it.
Right. No, for real.
So yeah. I love it, man. Well, thanks for letting me be a part of this, and thanks for putting up with my circus that's going on back here as well. But hey, we're having fun.
TV, right? We're live. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Kevin, do you have anything else you wanted to finish with, or are we done?
No, I would say, just the same thing. Obviously, anybody who can catch us, exp.online, or expclass.online is the URL. Fred got that right. Join us, reach out to Eric, reach out to Fred, reach out to myself, learn from us and our experiences, and maybe allow one of the three or all three of us to push you into the next level of your business and into something better that maybe you don't realize is out there, because truthfully, there is something better out there, and we can show you. So that's what I would end with today, fellas.
Awesome. And, thanks, guys.
Freddie Penn's ending us off with a wave. So
right. See you, Freddie.
See you later, buddy. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Say bye.
Bye.
See you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. Are you in a meeting?